You need to stop whatever you are doing and listen to this because the clock just hit zero. In the last 60 seconds, a communique was intercepted from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps that has sent a literal shockwave through the sub-basement levels of the Pentagon and Foggy Bottom. This is the announcement the mainstream media is terrified to touch because it signals the end of global trade as we've known it for a century. Iran has officially declared a total exclusion zone over every single port in the Persian Gulf. Their message is simple, brutal, and final. No one is safe. Stay with me and do not turn this off because what I am about to disclose is the most suppressed piece of military intelligence to emerge from the Middle East theater in your lifetime. If you think the sinking of our 7 destroyers was the peak of this conflict, you are dangerously mistaken. That was just the prologue. What is happening right now, this very minute, is the systematic dismantling of the entire Western economic engine. I've spent my life in military intelligence. I've been the one looking through the lens at the weapons systems that determine the fate of nations. And I am telling you that the truth you are getting from the talking heads on the news is a fairy tale designed to keep you from panicking until the shelves are already empty. Let's look at the reality on the ground, or more accurately, the reality in the water. We already know that Wave 55 of Operation True Promise decimated our naval presence. We saw 520 missiles turn the pride of the 7th Fleet into scrap metal. We saw 7 of our Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, ships we were told could swatter anything out of the sky, get sent to the bottom of the Hormuz. But while the Pentagon was busy trying to spin those losses as a tactical realignment, Iran was moving the pieces for the checkmate. They have now activated what we in the intelligence community call the horizontal escalation doctrine. It's no longer just about hitting American hulls. Iran has just signaled that Jebel Ali in Dubai, Ras Tanura in Saudi Arabia, and every major port in Kuwait and Qatar are now within the crosshairs of their precision-guided ballistic inventory. They have stated clearly, if a single drop of Iranian oil is prevented from hitting the market, not a single ship, not a tanker, not a container ship, not a tugboat will leave any port in the Gulf alive. I've analyzed theater-level conflicts for 40 years. I've walked the ground in Iraq. I've stood in the silos, and I'm telling you, we have never seen anything like this. This is Wave 62. We are talking about the Fatah 3 hypersonic missiles being fueled on the pads right now. These are weapons that move at 12 times the speed of sound. Our satellite imagery, the stuff the public isn't allowed to see, shows the Iranian coastline glowing with thermal signatures. It looks like a hive of hornets ready to swarm. But here is what is even more alarming, and why you must stay with me until the very end of this briefing. The Pentagon is completely paralyzed. I have confirmed reports from sources inside Central Command that our integrated air defense is effectively non-existent in the region. We burned through our entire inventory of interceptors trying to save those 7 destroyers, and we failed. We spent $6 million per missile to miss targets that cost $20,000 to build. The math of war has changed, and we are on the wrong side of the equation. Now, why isn't this the lead story on every network? Because if the American people understood that every port in the Gulf was under an Iranian shadow veto, the global insurance markets would collapse within the hour. The petrodollar doesn't just decline in this scenario, it evaporates. Every piece of technology in your pocket, every gallon of gas in your car, every grain of imported food in your pantry depends on the security of those ports. And right now, that security is a myth. The sensory details coming from the region are chilling. My contacts describe the silence of the Gulf. The usual hum of maritime traffic has been replaced by a haunting stillness. The massive cranes at Jebel Ali, the busiest port in the Middle East, have stopped moving. They are sitting ducks. Imagine the sky over a city like Dubai suddenly filled with 300 Shahed 136 drones, each one carrying a payload designed to take out a docking pier. This isn't a what if. This is the threat that was just broadcast on IRGC channels. Keep watching because the tactical failure is only the beginning. What comes next changes the very fabric of American life. As we speak, the Shadow Alliance is moving. While our eyes are glued to the Gulf, my sources indicate that Russian intelligence vessels are providing the targeting data for these Iranian batteries. They are using passive radar systems that our electronic warfare suites can't even detect. We are being hunted by a ghost in the machine. I've seen the classified simulations. When the ports close, the supply chain doesn't just slow down, it breaks. We are looking at a zero-day scenario for global shipping. If Iran follows through on this threat, and their track record in the last 72 hours says they will, we are looking at the total isolation of the Arabian Peninsula. The U.S. Navy, or what's left of the Seventh Fleet, is currently steaming away from the coast. They are running, they are trying to get out of the hypersonic envelope. They've abandoned the ports, they've abandoned our allies, they've abandoned the mission, but stay with me because there is a layer to this that is even more gut-wrenching. I've spent years in military intelligence, and I know when a stand-down order has been given, there is a reason the White House is silent. There is a reason the Secretary of Defense hasn't been seen on camera in hours. They know that we have no conventional answer to this. If we strike the Iranian mainland, they turn the lights off in every port in the region. It's a hostage situation on a global scale. $20 trillion of trade is being held at gunpoint by a nation we were told was a third-rate power. I'm angry, and you should be too. We were lied to. We were told our maximum pressure campaign was working. We were told our carriers were invincible sovereign territory. Well, tell that to the families of the sailors on those 7 destroyers. Tell that to the millions of Americans who are about to see their life savings decimated as the markets react to the "no one is safe" doctrine. But don't go anywhere because the most shocking revelation is yet to come. I'm going to tell you exactly what the black box data from our last engagement reveals. It wasn't just missiles that hit our ships. It was a new form of cognitive electronic warfare that literally shut down the brains of our Aegis systems. Our computers were hallucinating targets that weren't there while the real missiles sailed right through the gaps. This is the hidden truth that the defense contractors are spending millions to bury. If the public knows our tech is compromised, the defense industrial complex is out of business. This is happening in real time. Just moments ago, we received reports of secondary explosions near the port of Fujairah. Whether it's sabotage or the first shots of the port blockade, we don't know yet. But the panic is real. The smart money is already fleeing the region. The private jets of the billionaires in the Gulf are clogging the runways, trying to get out before the exclusion zone becomes a no-fly zone too. I want you to feel the weight of this. This isn't a political debate. This is theater-level reality. Having spent years analyzing these conflicts, I can tell you that we are in the attrition phase of a war we cannot win. We are trying to fight a 21st century swarm with a 20th century mindset. The Iranians aren't playing by the rules of proportionality. They are playing for keeps. Keep watching, because by the end of this video, you will understand the final payoff of this Iranian strategy. It's not just about the ports, it's about the new Silk Road. While we are being kicked out of the Gulf, China is waiting in the wings to offer security guarantees to the very ports we can no longer protect. We are witnessing the literal handover of global hegemony, and it's happening under the cover of a missile barrage. The mainstream media won't tell you this because they are part of the machine that wants to keep you docile. They want you to think this is just another flare-up in the Middle East. It isn't. This is the earthquake. The Seventh Fleet's retreat was the first tremor. The sinking of the destroyers was the second. This threat to the ports is the tsunami. I've been in the room during red team exercises where we gamed out this exact scenario. Every single time the United States lost. Every single time. And every time the generals in the room would just shrug and say, "That'll never happen in the real world." Well, welcome to the real world. The Wave 60 doctrine is here, and it is merciless. Stay with me, because I need to talk to you about the internal collapse. When the ports close, the just-in-time delivery system that feeds our cities stops. In 3 days, the grocery stores are empty. In 7 days, the pharmacies are out of medicine. This is the asymmetrical war that Iran is threatening. They don't need to land troops on the shores of California. They just need to stop the cranes in Dubai and Saudi Arabia. I feel a sense of profound grief for the country I served. We have been hollowed out by leaders who prioritize optics over ordnance. We have a Navy that is top-heavy with admirals and light on ammunition. We have a State Department that thinks harshly worded letters can stop a hypersonic glide vehicle. It's a tragedy of epic proportions. But don't go yet. You need to know about the Z point. My sources in the intelligence community are whispering that the "no one is safe" order includes a specific directive regarding undersea infrastructure. We aren't just talking about the ports, we are talking about the fiber optic cables that run along the seabed. If Iran cuts those cables, and they have the submersibles to do it, the internet as you know it ceases to exist for half the planet. That is the ultimate weapon they are holding in reserve. This is why you need to stay tuned and why you need to share this information with everyone you know. The official channels are going to lie to you until the very last second. They'll tell you it's a temporary disruption. They'll tell you the 7th Fleet is refitting. They'll tell you the 520 missiles were mostly intercepted. I am here to tell you they are lying to your face. The exact numbers don't lie. 250 College FARS missiles, 520 saturation drones, 7 destroyers at the bottom, and now a threat to every port that keeps the global economy breathing. This is the end game. I've spent years analyzing these theaters, and the what comes next is a total realignment of power. You need to prepare for a world where the United States is no longer the policeman of the seas. You need to prepare for a world where maritime security is something we have to beg for, not something we provide. The payoff for our decades of hubris is finally being collected, and the price is everything. As I wrap up this briefing, remember this. The truth is a heavy burden, but it's the only thing that can save you from the shock of what's coming. The 1 minute ago threat from Iran isn't just words. It's the final warning before the lights go out. Stay with me for the next update because we are tracking a second wave of deployments that makes everything we've seen so far look like a skirmish. The Pentagon is paralyzed, the 7th Fleet is in retreat, and the ports of the world are in the crosshairs. This is Scott Ritter, and I will continue to bring you the theater-level reality that the mainstream media is too cowardly to report. Stay sharp, stay informed, and don't take your eyes off the Gulf. The world is changing in real time, and you cannot afford to look away. The what comes next is already here. Stay tuned.